Welcome, everyone, to Bergen Stage's Radio Theater. This is your host, Jim Bumgardner, inviting you to be our guest for the next half hour. Christmas and Hanukkah are a time of giving, and what more wonderful thing can anyone give to another than the joy, the happiness, and the love, which is the true meaning of these holidays.
I must go now, Stefan. I will be home to fix your lunch.
If you must. I never thought Stefan Held would seize a day his wife would have to go to work.
Oh, please, Stefan. I want to do this. We have talked and talked, and it is the only way.
Yeah. And such a cold day. It's almost too much. You remember, I always said it would be a cold day when my Ilsa would...
Please, forget about what you have always said. This is what we must do.
Yeah, but my Ilsa, a stock clerk?
And what is wrong with that? It is a lovely store, a thrift store, they call it. And it is nice. I am lucky to get this job. I could find no work anywhere else.
You should not have to work.
Stefan, calm yourself. And while I am gone, think what we have talked about. We will never pay the doctors and the friends who helped us unless we have extra money. I work now at Christmas, and maybe they let me stay on after the holiday. And in a few months, we will be out of debt, which is not so much we owe, but with only your pension, we will never pay it back.
Pension. They take away a man's legs, then they pay $75 a month to make up for it.
Oh, shh, Stefan, enough. You cannot blame the factory all your life. You rest now, and I will try to be home to fix lunch.
I will not be hungry.
And you will see, my Stefan, by spring, when the sun is warm and the flowers bloom, we will have all our worries behind us. We will look back to this time and we will smile. I go now.
Take your boots, Ilsa. Looks like it's going to snow.
Oh, I will be all right. Goodbye, my Stefan.
Where'd you like these snowball things, Mrs. Johns?
Oh, put them with the rest of the things by the window there. Oh dear. Thrift store. Merry Christmas. Yes, we do. We open at 9. Yes, that's perfectly all right. Goodbye. Charlie, will you see if you can get me a can of that snow spray for the windows?
Sure, but from the looks of that old sky, you're gonna have plenty of snow on them windows.
I hope we have a blizzard. I'd love it. Now, Scoot, get me that spray. I want to try and have the window decorated before the rush begins.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and Charlie, pick up another string of lights, will you?
Okay.
Let's see now. Ornaments, roping, holly. Oh, we don't open till 9.
The door is locked.
You'll have to come back at 9. We're not open yet.
Oh, please, I come in.
Just a minute. I'm sorry, we're not open.
Please, I am Mrs. Held. I am working here.
Oh, Mrs. Held. Well, of course. Come on in. You're the extra person Mr. Thomas hired for the holidays.
Yeah, he told me 8:30 Saturday morning.
I thought you were an early customer. Come on, I'll show you where to put your coat. I'm Mrs. Johns.
Oh, how do you do?
Have you ever worked in a store, Mrs. Held?
Well, no, not like this one. Stefan and I, we had a small tobacco shop in Hamburg. Oh, it was very small.
Well, it's very easy, really. Everything's marked with a price. And if a customer wants something you can't find, I'll help out.
Oh, thank you. I am a little nervous.
Here we are. You can put your things in there.
Thank you. It is a cold day, yeah?
Coldest yet.
What do I do first, Mrs. Johns?
Well, I'll show you around and then you can help me decorate the front window till the store opens. All right?
All right, whatever you say.
All the appliances are in that area over there. Clothing against that wall, books and magazines to the front. After one day, you'll know your way around as well as I do.
Oh, I don't know. But I am surprised. You pardon my saying, but everything is so nice looking. I thought used things would be, well, how can I say?
Oh, everything's reconditioned before we put it out, Mrs. Held. That's probably the most important function of the store. Come this way. I want to show you the workroom where we repair and paint the items we get.
Oh, my goodness.
You see, things that are donated are gone over completely right here. We fix up the toys, paint the appliances, mend the clothing.
Oh, how wonderful.
Well, later on, when everyone gets here, you can watch them work. That box of toys is due for sorting today.
I got the lights, Mrs. Johns, but oh, hello.
Charlie, this is Mrs. Held. Mrs. Held, Charlie Wood.
How do you do?
Hello.
Mrs. Held's working with us for the holidays.
Oh, nice to have you with us, Mrs. Held.
Thank you.
Oh, I couldn't get any of that spray, Mrs. Johns.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll try later. Come on, Mrs. Held, let's tackle that window.
Yeah. Nice to have met you, Mr. Wood.
Uh, uh, yeah, thank you. See ya.
He is a nice gentleman.
Charlie? Charlie's a prince. He's in charge of the workroom. Now, if you'll hold this end, we'll string the lights across the top of the window. How do you like my toy arrangement?
Oh, very, very nice.
Do you like that doll sitting in the little car? She looks as though she's driving it.
Yeah, it is cute.
Well, it's just a touch. Now, if you'll take your end of the lights, get up in the window. That's it. Oh, watch your stockings on that car. Hook it over that nail. That's right. Now my end, and it's done. I'll have Charlie fix an extension later. Now, for the ornaments.
Mrs. Johns, I think someone is watching us.
What? Oh, isn't she sweet?
She's looking at the doll in the little car, yeah?
Oh, they always come in droves when we put the toy display in at Christmas. Poor child looks cold.
Yeah, she isn't even wearing stockings.
She doesn't seem to know we're here. She's so intent on that doll.
The eyes of children. Is there anything so beautiful?
I don't think there is. Oh, would you unlock the door now, Mrs. Held? It's almost 9.
Ah, yeah.
Think you frightened our little friend off.
Ah, she must have thought I was going to chase her.
She'll be back. Well, if you'll take some of these empty boxes to the back, I'll get started on the ornaments.
Oh, certainly. I'll put them in the workroom, yeah?
That'll be fine. Oh, Charlie, can you fix an extension here for the lights?
Well, sure, Mrs. Johns.
Whenever you get a minute.
Say, that Mrs. Held's a nice lady.
Yes, she is. I'm glad she's working with us.
You know something, Mrs. Johns?
What, Charlie?
She called me Mr. Wood.
45 cents. Thank you.
You wanted to go to lunch at 12, didn't you, Mrs. Held?
Oh, yeah, if it is all right.
Oh, you go ahead. Margie's due in any minute, and I have to stay till 1:30.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you run along and have a good lunch. Oh, it started to snow.
Yeah, I will be back on time.
Well, how are you getting along, Mrs. Held?
Oh, just fine, Mr. Wood.
You can call me Charlie. Everybody does.
All right, Charlie.
You haven't worked that much before, have you, Mrs. Held?
Well, no, but my husband and I, we had a little tobacco shop.
I knew it! I knew it after you'd been here an hour. If you'll excuse me saying, Mrs. Held, you look like a lady who ought to be in a fine big house with a big kitchen.
And baking strudel, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I have a big kitchen, and you must come over and meet my husband and have some of my strudel.
Hey, I'd like that.
You have a family, Charlie?
No, not since. Well, the store is my family. They gave me a second chance.
Yeah? They give me a chance too. I could find work nowhere else.
Do you really have to work?
Until we pay for my husband's illness, yeah?
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, no. I am grateful to be able to work.
No, tough about your husband, I mean. Is he very sick?
He was, he was in an accident at his work.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never had any sickness or accident or anything, but there's things a lot worse. I know, it's when you lose something inside you.
One would not know you had trouble, Charlie.
Well, I haven't now because being able to work cleaned me up inside. They gave me something to do.
That is good. We all must have something to do. And if you'll excuse me now, Charlie, I must go home and fix my Stefan's lunch. He will be waiting.
Oh, sure, I didn't mean to keep you.
Oh, that is all right. I see you later.
Yeah, see you, Mrs. Held.
Ah, hello. You were here this morning. You like the doll? It is pretty, yeah?
It's pretty.
Every time at Christmas, little girls look at little dolls. Maybe you get this one, yeah? Oh, wait! Wait, don't be afraid! Ah, poor little thing. Mrs. Johns is so nice, Stefan. When I made the mistake about the camera, she just smiled.
I do not want to hear any more about the store.
But why?
It is hard enough to know that you work. I don't want to hear about it.
Oh, then I won't mention it again. And you don't mention again how sorry you are for yourself. It is now 2 weeks to Christmas. We will spend them happy, yeah?
We will spend them.
Oh, we are not so unfortunate, Stefan. If you could have seen the little girl.
Little girl.
It was at the store, and you don't want to hear about the store.
That is different. You want to speak?
A poor little child in a thin coat looking at a beautiful doll in the window.
Yeah.
It is only $4, but I don't think she even has 4 cents. You can see it in her eyes. She knows she will never have it. She will be lucky to have bread on the table.
I'm not complaining, Ilsa. I have you.
Oh, I love you, Stefan. And remember, We only pay debts with my money. It is your pension we live on. You are the support in this house.
Mrs. Held, may I see you for a minute?
Yeah, is something wrong?
Oh, no, not at all. You know, today marks just a week you've been with us.
Yeah.
You've been doing well, Mrs. Held. Mr. Thomas wanted me to ask you if you'd consider staying on after the Christmas rush. Work full-time, in other words.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Margie's getting married in January, you know. We'd really appreciate your staying on.
Oh, I was hoping I might do that. It means so much. I have to keep working for a little while, and I didn't know what I would do after Christmas.
Well, good. It's settled then.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I see our little friend's back again.
Yeah. I saw her just once during the week, pressing her nose against the glass.
I guess she wants to make sure it's still there.
She is so in love with that doll.
Oh, excuse me. Could someone help me, please?
Yes, certainly.
I'd like that doll you have in the window. The one in the car? For $4?
Oh, yes. Well, this way, madam.
It's just the doll I've been looking for. I want to surprise my little girl with it.
It is pretty. I hope I can get it without knocking over these lights.
Excuse me, Mrs. Jones. We cannot sell that doll.
What?
What do you mean, Mrs. Held?
It is already sold. I should have told you.
But we were just talking about that.
Yeah, it slipped my mind.
Now, just a moment. That doll's on display and I want it.
I'm sorry. I take it out now.
But why didn't the customer take it?
Because, I buy it.
You?
Yeah, I pay for it. $4.
Give me that doll.
No, it is mine now. I buy it.
Are you going to stand there and let this woman...
Please, madam. Mrs. Held, are you sure you bought this?
Well, I never heard of anything like this. A salesperson snatching the merchandise right from under a customer's nose.
Well, she has every right to buy what she wants, madam. I'm sorry for this misunderstanding, but it is hers now. You should have put it away, Mrs. Held. This has been most embarrassing.
I did not mean to cause trouble.
Mrs. Held, let me buy the doll from you then. I'm sorry I was so quick. I'll give you $10 for it.
Oh, I could not.
But why do you want it? It's old. There's nothing unusual about it.
Oh, there is something very unusual about this particular doll.
Oh, I see. You're more clever than I assumed.
No, I am not clever.
Oh no? You know what's unusual about that doll.
Yeah, a little girl's love.
It's for your little girl?
For a little girl.
Oh, I see. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay you $25 for this doll. And you can buy a dozen dolls for that special little girl.
$25?
No, I'm sorry, but this is the little doll she wants, not the other.
But any doll will please a child, and this one is so important to me.
No, I cannot.
Very well, Mrs. Held. You're a clever dealer. $100, no more.
Oh, just a moment, madam. Madam...
Mrs. Arnell. Mrs. John Arnell.
Oh, Mrs. Arnell, why are you so anxious to pay $100 for this doll?
Mrs. Held can tell you.
But I do not know what you mean.
Well, I think you do. But, deals like this are made overnight. Think it over, Mrs. Held. I'll stop by to see you during the week.
Oh, here are the $4, Mrs. Johns.
But Ilsa, $100?
Now, don't get excited, Stefan.
You mean that woman would give you $100 for an old doll?
I do not understand it, but the doll is not for sale.
Don't you realize what $100 would mean to us? You wouldn't have to work past Christmas. That's for this child you speak of. Any doll would do.
If you could have seen her eyes when Mrs. John reached into the window.
Wait. If this Mrs. What's her name?
Arnell.
If Mrs. Arnell will pay you $100, then maybe someone else will pay even more. It must be very valuable.
No, it is not that. Mrs. Arnell is a very rich woman. You can tell by the way she dresses, the way she acts. And she is spoiled. Yeah, spoiled. All her life she has just what she wants, and she stamps her foot when she can't have something. Now she's too old to stamp her foot, so she offers money to get her way.
But nobody would pay $100 for an old doll just to get her way.
No, Mrs. Arnell would. What is $100 to her? But that little face at the window. Ah, she probably has never had anything she wants. But this doll, she shall have it.
Ah, you are stubborn, Ilsa.
So I am stubborn.
And beautiful.
Stefan.
The doll is yours. Do what you like. But it is a shame to throw $100 away.
Stefan, we have never in our life had $100 at one time. We do not know what it's like to have $100 that is ours.
Yeah.
So, what are we missing now?
Oh, how I hate Wednesdays. That midweek drag gets me right here.
But Monday is Christmas. Soon the rush will be over, yeah?
Yeah. By the way, have you heard any more from that Mrs. Arnell?
No, I don't think I will either.
I wouldn't be too sure about that. I'm glad you took the doll out of the window, though. It'll save us any more complications.
Oh, I can hardly wait for Saturday. I have my surprise already. When the little girl comes to the window and sees the doll gone, oh, how sad she will be. And then I will call her in and I will give it to her.
I still don't understand that woman offering $100.
As I told Stefan, she will try to buy her way.
And here she comes to buy it now.
Oh dear.
Well, good morning, Mrs. Held.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Well, Mrs. Held, have you reached a decision?
It is still the same.
It is? Well, go ahead, Mrs. Held. Name your own price.
But how can I make you understand?
I think Mrs. Held has made herself clear, Mrs. Arnell.
Very clear indeed. Then let's not beat around the bush anymore. We both know that doll is a genuine Taroni. You have it, and I want it.
Taroni? What is a Taroni?
You mean that you really don't know?
No.
Well, Taroni was a classic Italian doll maker. I happen to have the largest collection of Taronis in the country, and I must have that doll. Oh, you see, Mrs. Held, there are only 3 Taronis missing from my collection. Now with this one, I'll only need 2 more to make it complete. Now, don't you see why it's so important to me?
Oh, yeah.
To anyone else, it's just a doll. It really is worthless by itself, but as part of a collection, it becomes priceless to me.
Oh, I see.
Then you'll reconsider?
Mrs. Held?
I will do this. The doll, it is not mine to give. It belongs to the little girl who will hold it in her arms on Saturday. If she will let you have it, then I can do nothing. It will be hers to give.
Well, thank you. That is a sensible and a fair decision.
Well, perhaps it is. To you.
Well, I'll go now. I'll be in first thing Saturday.
She will get it from the child. Perhaps I'm putting too great a choice on the little one. Her precious doll or that $100 her family must need very much. But what else can I do?
I hate to say it at this time of year, but I've never seen anyone as selfish as that woman.
Well, I will not let it spoil my surprise. I'm still looking forward to Saturday. I'm glad there are no customers yet. I don't want to be busy when she comes.
I'll take care of anyone who comes in, Mrs. Held.
Charlie wrapped it up very pretty for me, yeah?
Oh, it's beautiful.
No sign of her yet?
Not yet, but she will be here.
Suppose she comes before that lady.
Well, then that lady won't be able to get it.
Hey, this is fun, you know? I kind of feel as though I was given the little tyke the present too.
Yeah, it is really from all of us.
Uh-oh. Here's Mrs. Arnell.
Oh,
Oh, good morning.
good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Arnell.
Has she come yet?
Not yet.
Mrs. Arnell, I would ask a favor.
Yes.
You will let me give the child the doll. You will say nothing to her until she holds it in her arms.
Oh, no, of course.
Then you may offer her what you like, but she is only a child. Don't press her.
No, I won't. I promise. I'll simply offer her any doll in the store in exchange for it. If she says no, well, then that's how it'll be.
Look, here she comes.
She's running.
Oh, yeah, please, I must see her face. Oh, I don't understand. She is still excited.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, come in, child. Please, what is your name?
Anya,
What a lovely name.
please, I have the money now for the car. It's still $6, isn't it?
The car?
The red car in the window? The one that had the doll in it.
You want the car?
Oh, please, it hasn't been sold, has it?
Oh, child, when you came here so many times and looked in the window, weren't you looking at the little doll that was in the car?
No, I don't need a doll. I want the car. It's for my brother. He doesn't know it. He thinks Santa Claus is gonna bring him a car. He's only 5. Can I have it?
Oh, you may have it, child.
Oh, thank you. For a minute, I was afraid.
And you keep your money, dear. I want to buy it for you.
Buy it for me?
Yes, you spend your $6 on yourself.
Oh, but then it wouldn't be my gift to Roger. Thank you very much, but I think I'd better pay for it. May I take it now, please?
Sure, I'll get it for you, honey. Come with me.
Here's my money.
Mrs. Arnell, Merry Christmas.
What? What?
The doll. It is yours.
Oh, now, Mrs. Held,
And I will not take your money. Then it would not be my gift. The little girl is happy, and that's all that matters.
Here. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. Goodbye.
I think the child got the gift she wanted after all, Mrs. Held.
Yeah. How often we see the way through children.
I'm sorry your surprise didn't turn out the way you expected.
Oh, so what does it matter? The child is happy, Mrs. Arnell is happy, and I am happy. I have a steady job now, yeah? And it is Christmas, Mrs. Johns.
It certainly is.
Oh, here. She gave me $10. I will buy that radio for Stefan. He will fuss about me spending the money, but I might as well do my Christmas shopping here.
Ja, ja, Mrs. Held. And a very warm Freuliche Weihnachten.
You know it. Fröhliche Weihnachten, Mrs. Johns. Fröhliche Weihnachten.
So ends Bergen Stage's Radio Theater's performance of The Third Saturday in Advent by Robert Jurin, starring Christine Dunning as Ilsa, Ray Parente as Stefan, Nicholas Zerillo as Charlie, Lee Janitis as Mrs. Johns, Anya Campbell as Anya, Victoria Jungerman as Mrs. Arnell. A special thank you to Dean Matson, our recording engineer and sound effects creator, and to Marianne Coe Rivera, our video engineer. We'd also like to thank Bergen Community College, the BCC Office of Student Life, and the BCC Media Technologies Department. I am Jim Bumgardner, your host. From all of us at Bergen Stage's Radio Theater, we wish you and yours a happy holiday season.